Good day everyone, my name is Christian J.C. Pascual and I'm here to report different problems under the curve of root surveying. So for the first topic, under the curve, the simple curve. The given problem, a 5-degree simple curve is to be used to connect two highways and two railways. Both roadways have bearing of north 12 degree east and north 48 degree east. If the stationing of the vertex is 1 plus 234.567, what is the stationing of PC and PT of the two highways? And what is the stationing of the PC and PT of the two railways? So, based dun sa given problem, if ever na hindi natin alam kung isa ba siyang metric or English system, pwede natin siyang tignan or i-check sa stationing ng isang given problem. So, for example, dito sa given problem na to, ang stationing of the vertex niya ay 1 plus 234.567. So, based dito, malalaman agad natin kung isa ba siyang English or isang metric. So, since ang given niya is 1 plus 234, take note natin yung 234 na yan. Since yung after nung plus na sign na to, may 3 numbers pa before yung decimal. So, automatic, isa na siyang metric. And, another one, para naman mahanap natin yung angle of intersection niya, we need to minus the two bearing na given sa problem, which is yung 48 degree northeast, which is ito yun, and yung 12 degree northeast din, para makuha natin yung kanyang angle of intersection, which is ito. Ito. Yan. Itong nasa pagitan ng dalawang yellow line. Okay. For the first question, what is the stationing of PC and PT of the two highways? So, based dun sa question, makikita natin na ang tinatanong ay sa two highways. So, automatic, pag nakita natin yung highways na yan, usually, ang gagamitin nating basis ay arc basis. So, para makuha yung radius, gagamit tayo ng formula na 1145.916 over degree of the curve or yung D. So, makikita naman natin sa given problem na ang degree of the curve niya ay yung 5 degree. Okay. So, substitute lang natin. Then, makukuha natin yung 229.183 meters. And for the subtangent, we have the formula R tan I or yung angle of intersection over 2. Then, substitute lang natin yung nakuha nating radius kanina, which is yung 229.183. Ito na. Then, yung angle of intersection na nakuha natin sa dalawang bearing, which is yung 36. Then, solve lang natin. Makukuha natin sa calcu yung 74.466 meter. Meter siya kasi siya ay isang metric. And for the length of arc, we're going to use the formula Ri times pi over 180. And, katulad ng sa ibang formula, substitute lang natin yung mga nakuha nating given. Yung 229.183 times natin sa I na 36 degree. Then, pi over 180. And we'll get the length of arc or length of curve na 144 meters. And to find station of PC naman, we're going to use the formula station of vertex minus T. So, substitute lang natin yung given na vertex kanina, which is yung 1 plus 234.567 minus 74.466. So, pag i-minus natin sila, pag dudugtungin lang natin sila, etong station of vertex niyan, so magiging 1,234.567 minus 74.466. Then, after that, makukuha natin yung 1,160.101. Then, para magawa ulit natin siyang station of PC, magtitira lang tayo ng 3 numbers dito. Then, yung natitira, ilalagay natin sa isa. Then, hatiin lang sila ng plus sign. So, ganun ko sila ginawa para mapakita natin yung station of PC. And for the station of PT, we're going to use station of vertex minus T plus L. So, substitute lang natin. 1 plus 234.567 minus 74.466 plus 144. So, same lang kung paano natin sinabi yung station of PC. Makukuha natin yung 1 plus 304.101. And for the next question naman, we have, what is the stationing of PC and PT of the two railways? So, take note, ito naman ay naghahanap for the two railways. So, pag railways ang nasa question, automatic ang gagamitin natin dyan ay chord basis. So, for the chord basis, ang given formula para makuha ang radius ay 10 over sine d over 2. So, alam naman natin na ang d natin or degree of the curve ay 5 degree. So, substitute lang natin and we'll get 229.256. Kung mapapansin natin, ang una nating nakuha sa arc basis ay 229.183 and sa chord basis naman 229.256. So, medyo maliit lang yung kanilang discrepancy or pagkakaiba. For the subtangent, same lang din ang formula. R tan I over 2. Then, magkakaiba lang sila sa radius since ibang radius na nakuha natin dito. So, 229.256 tangent 36 over 2. And we'll get 74.490. So, length of arc naman, or length of curve, makukuha natin siya gamit yung formula na radius times angle of intersection times pi over 180. So, substitute lang natin. 229.256 times 36 times pi over 180 equals 144.046 meters. So, sa PC naman, station of PC, magamit natin yung formula na station of vertex minus T. So, substitute lang ulit natin. 1 plus 234.567 minus 74.490, which is yung subtangent. So, we'll get the station of PC 1 plus 160.077. And for the station of PT naman, we're going to use the formula station of V minus T plus L. So, substitute lang ulit natin. 1 plus 234.567 minus 74.490 plus 144.046. And makukuha natin yung station of PT niya na 1 plus 304.123. And ayan na yung station of PC and station of PT na sagot. For the next given problem, we have a 5-degree simple curve is to be used to connect two highways and two railways. Both roadways have bearing of north 12 degree east and north 48 degree east. The stationing of the vertex is 12 plus 34.567. What is the stationing of PC and PT of the two highways, and what is the stationing of the PC and PT of the two railways? So, based dun sa first problem natin, same lang din naman sila. Pero magkakaiba lang sila sa stationing of the vertex. Tulad nga na sinabi ko, dito natin pwedeng ma-determine kung siya ba ay isang metric or isang English. So, makikita naman natin dito na instead na 1 plus 234, ang ginamit dito ay 12 plus 34. So, take note natin yan. Yung after ng plus, hindi na siya 100. So, 34 na lang. So, dyan ma-determine agad natin na isa siyang English. Then, same pa rin kung paano kinuha yung angle of intersection. Pinag-minus lang natin yung dalawang bearing, which is ito. And ito na yung 36. Mula dito sa line na to, papunta dito. So, for the first question, what is the stationing of PC and PT of the two highways? So, highway ulit. So, gagamitin natin ay arc basis. So, para makuha natin yung radius, ang gamit nating formula ay 5,729.578 over degree of the curve. So, kung mapapansin natin, although same sila ng arc basis, iba pa rin yung gamit nating formula. Since ito ay English system. So, paano nga ba natin nakuha yung 5,729.578? So, mula sa previous formula, which is yung 1145.916 over degree of the curve, galing sa metric, magta-times lang tayo sa 1145.916 ng 5. So, times 5 siya, then we'll get this given formula. So, substitute na natin yung D, which is yung 5, and we'll get 1145.916 feet. So, feet na siya since English system. Then, for the subtangent, 1145.916 tan I over 2. So, same lang siya ng formula na ginamit sa previous problem. So, substitute lang natin yung I, 36. So, we'll get 372.331 feet. For the length of arc or ng curve, we're going to use Ri times pi over 180. So, substitute lang natin. 1145.916 times 36 times pi over 180, and we'll get L equals 720. Okay. Next, we're going to find the station of PC. So, for the station of PC, same formula, station of vertex minus T. So, substitute lang natin yung given problem, yung nasa given. So, 12 plus 34.567 minus 372.331, and we'll get 8 plus 62.236. So, paano ko nakuha to? So, as usual, pinagsama ko lang sila. So, magiging 1,234.567. Then, ma-minus natin siya sa 372.331. And, makukuha natin yung 862.236. And take note, since ito ay English, automatic ang ititira natin dito ay dalawang number lang. Then, yung plus sign, tapos yung natitira, which is yung 8. So, yun na. Makukuha natin yung station of PC. So, for the station of PT, we're going to use the formula station of vertex minus subtangent or yung T plus yung length of arc or curve, which is yung L. Then, substitute lang natin galing sa mga nakuha natin kanina. So, 12 plus 34.567 minus 372.331 plus 720. And we'll get 15 plus 82.236, sorry. So, ito na yung station of PT natin. 15 plus 82.236. So, para naman sa letter B, what is the stationing of PC and PT of the two railways? So, since railways ulit to, gagamit tayo ng chord basis. And the formula for radius ay 50 over sine D over 2. So, kung mapapansin natin, nag-iba ulit siya. Same dun sa arc basis na English system, siya ay na-multiply din sa 5. Since ang chord basis na metric natin ay 10 over sine D2, yung 10 dun, na-multiply pa siya sa 5, kaya naging 50 over sine D2. So, substitute lang natin yung D, which is yung 5 degree, and we'll get 1,146.279 feet. So, medyo maliit lang din ang discrepancy. For the subtangent, same formula, arc times tan I over 2. So, substitute lang natin yung R na nakuha natin, which is ito. So, 1,146.279 tangent 36, which is yung angle of intersection natin, over 2. Then, we'll get 372.449 feet. For length of arc naman, we're going to use the formula Ri times pi over 180. Then, substitute R, so 1,146.279 times 36 times pi over 180. So, makukuha natin yung length of arc or length of curve natin na 720.228 feet. Then next, para naman makuha yung station of PC, gagamit tayo ng formula na station of vertex minus T. So, substitute lang natin yung given natin na station of vertex. 12 plus 34.567 minus 372.449. and we'll get 8 plus 62.118. So, para sa PT naman, same din. Station of vertex minus T plus L. Same din siya dun sa unang mga problem. So, substitute lang natin. 12 plus 34.567 minus 372.449. Then, length of arc, i-substitute lang din natin. So, plus 720.228. And we'll get station of PT na 15 plus 82.346. Okay. So, for the next topic, we have the compound curve. So, kung mapapansin natin sa given figure, ang compound curve ay nagko-consist ng 2 or more simple curve lang. So, almost the same lang din. So, for the first problem, we have a compound curve is to be used to connect 2 highways and 2 railways. Both roadways have the following data. I1, o angle of intersection 1, equals to 30 degree. Then, I2 naman, central angle, 30 degree. Then, sa I2 o central angle 2, we have 38 degree. Then, para naman sa D1, we have 3 degree. And D2 equals to 6 degree. If the stationing of the vertex is 1 plus 234.567, what is the stationing of PC, PCC, and PT of the 2 highways? What is the stationing of the PC, PCC, and PT of the 2 railways? So, tulad ng kanina, sa station of the vertex tayo tumingin, kaya nalaman natin na isa siyang metric. Then, dito, kung mapapansin natin, gumawa tayo ng triangle dito since T1, T2. Tapos, para makuha natin to, pinag-minus lang natin ito, 30 at 38, then minus natin sa 180 para makuha natin tong angle nito since dapat ang total niyan ay 180 degree. So, first question, what is the stationing of PC, PCC, and PT of the 2 highways? So, since highway na naman yung given natin, gagamit tayo ng arc basis. So, same formula dun sa arc basis ng highway. 1,145.916 over D1 para makuha natin yung R1. So, substitute lang natin yung D1, yung 3 degree. So, makukuha natin yung sagot na 381.972 meters. Then, sa R2 naman, same formula rin kung paano natin nakuha yung R1. Pero ang pinagkaiba lang nila, ang gagamitin natin is D2 since R2 yung hinahanap. So, substitute natin yung given ng D2. So, 6 degree. 1,145.916 divided by 6. And then, makukuha natin yung 190.986. Then, para naman dun sa subtangent or yung tangent ng simple curve, then dito naman, same lang din ang formula. Pero gagamitin natin ay R1 at I1. So, substitute lang natin 381.972 times tangent of 30 degree, yung I1 natin, over 2. So, makukuha natin yung sagot na 102.349 meters. Then, para naman sa T2, same formula pa rin, R2 times tangent I2 over 2. So, ang pinagkaiba lang niya ay 2, yung pang 2 yung gagamitin natin since T2 yung hinahanap. So, ang R2 natin ay 190.986 times natin sa I2 which is yung 38 over 2. So, makukuha natin na T2 ay 65.762. Then, para naman makuha natin yung total nila or yung TC, pag-add lang natin yung dalawa. So, 102.349 plus 65,762 meters. And makukuha natin yung 168.111. So, para makuha naman natin yung L or length of arc din sa simple curve, same formula pa rin sa paggamit dito sa compound curve. So, R1 times I1 times pi over 180. So, sa substitute lang natin sila. 381.972 times 30 times pi over 180. And we'll get L1 as 200 meters. Para naman sa L2, same formula pa rin ang gamit. So, R2 times I2 times pi over 180. Then, substitute lang natin. So, 190.986 times 38. Then, times 180. And we'll get 126.667. Then, next, hahanapin natin ang A. So, paano nga ba natin makahanap tong A na to? So, gagamit tayo ng vertex triangle. Then, sine law. So, alam naman natin na ito ay 30 degree. Then, itong given na ito ay 38 degree. Then, nakuha na rin naman natin to, which is 112. Pinag-minus lang natin to at minus natin sila sa 180 degree. So, ngayon, para makuha naman natin yung TC, na pag-add naman na natin kanina yung dalawa, which is yung T1 at T2, then we'll get 168.111. So, paano nga ba makukuha natin tong A? Gagamitin natin yung formula na to. Yung TC over sine 112 equals to A over sine 38. So, paano nga ba siya gagamitin? Para makuha natin tong A, nag-cross multiply tayo ng TC. So, TC times sine 38. Then, since yung TC natin ay 168.111, sinubstitute lang natin. Tapos, multiply sa sine 38. All over sine 112 equals A, and we'll get 111.628 meters. Next, sa station of PC, ang gagamitin natin formula ay station of vertex minus A minus T1. So, substitute lang natin. 1 plus 234.567 minus natin sa A, yun nakuha natin kanina na 111.628. Then minus natin sa T, which is 102.349, and we'll get the station of PC na 1 plus 020.590. Para naman sa PCC, ang gagamitin natin formula, station of PC plus L1. So, alam naman na natin ang station of PC natin, kakakuha lang natin. So, substitute lang. 1 plus 20 or 020.590 plus 200, yun nakuha natin L1. And we'll get 1 plus 220.590. And para sa station of PT naman, station of PCC plus L2. So, nakuha na natin yung PCC. Substitute lang natin. So, 1 plus 220.590 plus yung L2, which is yung 126.667. So, pag pinag-add na natin yan, makukuha natin ang sagot ng station of PT na 1 plus 347.257. Para naman sa B, what is the stationing of PC, PCC, and PT of the two railways? So, railways to, automatic gagamit tayo ng chord basis. So, same formula pa rin dun sa una nating chord basis na railways. So, 10 over sine D1 over 2. So, substitute lang natin yung D1 natin. So, ang D1 natin ay 3. So, sinubstitute ko lang. Then, makukuha natin yung 382.016. Para naman sa R2, same formula pa rin. Then, substitute lang natin yung D2, which is yung 6 degree. And we'll get 191.073 meters. Then, para naman sa T1, same formula. R1 times tangent I1 over 2. So, ang R1 natin, which is ito, 382.016 times tangent 30 degree, yung I1 over 2. Then, we'll get 102.361 meters. Sa T2 naman, R2 times tangent I2 over 2. Then, substitute lang natin yung R2. So, 191.073 tangent 38 yung I2 natin over 2. Then, we'll get 65.792 meters. So, kung mapapansin natin, maliit lang din yung discrepancy nila sa arc basis. So, ngayon, para makuha ulit natin yung line TC or yung kabuuan ng dalawang T, makukuha natin yung 168.153 pag pinag-add natin yung T1 at T2. So, sa L1 naman, same formula. R1 times I1 times pi over 180. Substitute lang natin. 382.016 times 30 times pi over 180. And we'll get 200.023 meters. Then, para naman sa L2, we're going to use R2 times I2 times pi over 180. And we'll get 191.073 times 38 degree. 38 degrees since I2 yan. Times pi over 180. And we'll get 126.724 meters. So, tulad kanina, hanapin natin yung A, which is ito. So, para makuha yan, sign law ulit, and gagamitin ulit natin ito. So, substitute lang natin yung TC, 168.153, cross multiply sa sign, 38, all over sine 112, and we'll get A, which is 111.656 meters. For the station of PC naman, same formula pa rin sa kanina. So, station of vertex minus A minus T1. So, substitute lang natin. 1 plus 234.567 minus 111.656 minus 102.361. And we'll get the station of PC na 1 plus 020.550. Sa station of PCC naman, ang formula na gagamitin natin ay station of PC plus L1. So, substitute lang natin yung nakuha natin sa PC. 1 plus 020.550 plus yung nakuha natin L1 dito sa highways, 200.023. So, makukuha natin station ng PCC ay 1 plus 220.573. So, para naman sa PT, station of PCC plus L2. So, substitute natin yung PCC na to. 1 plus 220.573 plus 126.724. So, makukuha natin yung station of PT na 1 plus 347.297. For the next problem in compound curve, we have a compound curve is to be used to connect two highways and two railways. Both roadways have the following data. I1, 30 degree, I2, 38 degree, D1, 3 degree, D2, 6 degree. If the stationing of the vertex is 12 plus 34.567, what is the stationing of PC, PCC, and PT of the two highways? What is the stationing of the PC, PCC, and PT of the two railways? So, same din siya dun sa kanina. Ang pinagkaiba niya lang is yung station of the vertex niya. So, kung mapapansin natin, ang station of the vertex niya ay 12 plus 34.567. So, kung matatandaan natin sa simple curve, dito natin na-determine kung isa ba siyang English or metric. So, same given siya dun sa metric, ang pinagkaiba niya lang ay isa siyang English system. So, same din kung paano ginawa dun. Kinuha natin to, itong angle na to, para dun sa triangle na yan. So, we'll get 105 degree. So, for the first question, what is the stationing of PC, PCC, and PT of the two highways? So, since highway yan, gagamit tayo ng arc basis. So, para makuha natin yung radius 1, or yung R1, we're going to use the formula 5,729.578 over D1. So, kaya nakuha natin to, tintimes lang natin sa 5 yung 1,145. Tama. Yan, tintimes lang natin to sa 5. Kaya nakuha natin itong 5,729.578. Then, substitute natin yung D1, which is yung 3, and we'll get 1,909.859 feet, since ito ay English. Then, sa R2, same formula. Substitute lang natin yung D2, which is yung 6 degree, and we'll get 954.930 feet. Then, sa T1, same formula pa rin. R1 times tangent I1 over 2. Then, substitute lang natin yung R1 nito. So, 1,909.859 times tangent 30 over 2. And we'll get 511.745 feet. Para naman sa T2, same formula pa rin. R2 times tangent I2 over 2. So, substitute lang natin to. 954.930 times tangent 38 over 2. And we'll get 328.809 feet. Then, para naman sa TC, pag-add lang ulit natin yung T1 and T2. So, 511.745 plus 328.809 will get 840.554. Para makuha naman yung L1, same formula. R1 times I1 times pi over 180. So, substitute lang natin to. 1,909.859 times 30 times pi over 180 and we'll get L1 equals to 1,000 feet. Then sa L2 naman, same formula, R2 times I2 times pi over 180. Makukuha natin yung given nito sa mga nakuha natin kanina. So, ang R2 natin kanina ay 954.930 times natin sa I2 natin, which is 38. Yun, ito. Then, times natin sa pi over 180 and we'll get 633.334 feet. Then, sa vertex triangle, which is ito, nasa taas. So, nakuha na naman natin yung TC kanina, which is 840.554. Then, same formula kung paano natin kinukuha yung A, cross multiply. So, 840.554 times sine 38 all over 100 sine 112 and we'll get A, which is 558.138 feet. For the station of PC naman, we're going to use station of vertex minus A minus T1. So, station of vertex natin ay 12 plus 34.567 minus 558.138 minus 511.745 and we'll get 1 plus 64.684. The station of PCC naman, sinubstitute lang natin tong PC dito. So, ang formula niya kasi ay station of PC plus L1, then substitute. So, 1 plus 64.684 plus 1,000. So, ang makukuha natin ay 11 plus 64.684. Then, station of PT naman, ang gagamitin natin formula is station of PCC plus L2. So, substitute lang natin to. So, 11 plus 64.684 plus L2 natin, which is 633.334 and we'll get station of PT na 17 plus 98.018. Para naman sa B, what is the stationing of PC, PCC, and PT of the two railways? So, gagamit tayo ng chord basis since ang hinahanap ay 2 railways. So, para sa R1, same formula natin ng railways na chord basis. At the same time ay English. 50 over sine D1 over 2. So, tinimes lang yung 10 kanina sa 5. Kaya 50 yan. Then, substitute natin yung D1 sa 3. So, makukuha natin yung 1,910.078 feet. Para naman sa R2, we're going to use 50 over sine D2 over 2. Same din sa formula kanina. So, substitute natin yung D2. So, makukuha natin yung 955.366 if ma-substitute natin yung D2 dito. So, 6 degree kasi yung dito natin. So, para naman sa T1, we're going to use the formula R1 times tangent I1 over 2. So, ang R1 natin ay 1,910.078 tangent 30 degree over 2. So, ang T1 natin ay 511.804 feet. Then, para naman sa T2, R2 times tangent I2 over 2. So, ang R2 natin dito ay 955.366 times natin sa tangent na I2, which is 38 degree over 2. And we'll get the T2, 328.959 feet. So, para makuha naman natin yung TC, pag-a-add lang natin yung T1 and T2 and we'll get 840.763 once ma-add natin tong dalawa. So, para makuha naman yung L1, same formula. R1 times I1 times pi over 180. And substitute lang natin yung R1. So, 1,910.078 times 30 times pi over 180. And we'll get 1,000.115 feet. Para naman sa L2, same formula pa rin. R2 times I2 times pi over 180. Then substitute lang natin sila. So, 955.366 times 38 times pi over 180. And we'll get 633.623 feet. For the vertex triangle naman, kailangan ulit natin to para makuha natin yung A. So, same katulad kanina, gamit tayo ng sine law. So, PC over sine 112 equals to A over sine 38. So, cross multiply and substitute natin itong PC na to. So, we'll get 840.763 times natin sa sine 38 all over sine 112 and we'll get A which is 558.277 feet. For the station of PC naman, we're going to use the formula station of vertex minus A minus T1. So, substitute lang natin yan. So, 12 plus 34.567 minus yung A which is 558.277 minus T1 which is 511.804. So, we'll get station of PC na 1 plus 64.486. And for the station of PCC, gagamitin natin na formula ay station of PC plus L1. So, alam naman natin na ang PC natin ay 1 plus 64.486. So, sa substitute lang natin siya. Tapos, add natin siya sa L1 which is 1,000.115 and we'll get the station of PCC 11 plus 64.601. For the station of PT naman, we're going to use station of PCC plus L2. So, substitute natin yung station of PCC which is yung 11 plus 64.601. Then, add natin siya sa L2 na 633.623. So, for the station of PT, we'll get 17 plus 98.224. For the next topic, we have the reverse curve. So, sa reverse curve naman, kung mapapansin natin sa figure, kung ang compound curve ay pinagsamang simple curve, ito naman pinagbaliktad na dalawang simple curve. As we can see, ito yung unang simple curve, then ito yung pangalawa. Anyways, ito yung given problem natin. So, the first given problem is a highway and railroad both consist of two parallel tangent 40 meters apart connected by a reverse curve. The central angle of the first curve is 15 degree and the degree of the second curve is 5 degree. So, for the highway, compute the radius of the first curve and compute the common tangent of the curve, then compute the long chord, and if the stationing of PC is 1 plus 234.567, compute stationing of PRC and PT. Okay. So, first, letter A, compute the radius of the first curve. So, para makompute yung radius of the first curve, gagamitin natin na formula ay 1,145.916 over D2. So, ang D2 natin ay 5 degree, which is ito. So, substitute lang natin and we'll get R2 equals to 229.183 meters. Then, next, kukunin naman natin yung T, which is yung distance between parallel tangent. So, ang formula ay R1 plus R2 times 1 minus cosine I. So, since wala pa tayong R1 and alam naman natin ang T natin ay 40 meters, which is yung parallel tangent. So, substitute lang natin yung mga meron tayong given. So, T equals to 40, which is ito. Then, wala pa tayong R1. So, as is yan. Plus R2, which is ito, 229.183 times 1 minus cosine 15 degree, which is yung I natin. Ito. So, makukuha natin yung R1 natin pag nilagay na natin ito lahat sa calcu. So, ang R1 natin ay 944.727 meters. So, para naman sa B, ganun pa rin. Para makuha natin yung TC natin, meron tayong formula na T1 plus T2. And para naman sa P, A plus B. Okay. So, para makompute natin yung common tangent of the curve, first, titignan muna natin itong formula na to. P equals TC sin I, which is ito. So, para makuha natin yung TC, i-reconstruct natin tong formula or i-derive natin. So, TC equals to P over sine angle of intersection, which is yung I. So, okay, ayan na. So, substitute lang natin yan. So, ang P natin ay 40 over sine I, which is yung 15 degree. And we'll get TC, 154.548. So, ngayon, paano natin malalaman kung tama yan? Gagamitin natin yung una nating formula na ginagamit, which is yung T1 plus T2. So, aside dyan, pwede rin natin siya makuha bilang R1 plus R2 times tangent I over 2. Since ang pagkuha ng T1 is R1 times tangent I over 2. So, pinagsama na lang natin. So, substitute natin yung given. So, 944.727 plus 229.183 times tangent 15 degree, which is itong I over 2. So, makakuha natin ay 154.548. So, makikita natin na itong dalawa ay same lang. So, tama yung computation natin. Then, para naman makompute yung long chord, gagamitin natin tong triangle na to. So, ito yung I over 2. Itong part na to. Then, lalagay natin para makuha yung P. So, C sin I over 2. So, ang C ay nawawala, which is yung sa long chord natin. So, i-derive ulit natin para makuha yung C. Pero, since ang ginawa ko para mas mabilis, nilagay ko na lang agad siya sa calcu. So, 40 equals C sin 15 over 2, and we'll get 306.452 meters. So, para makuha naman natin yung C1, so, 2 R1 sin I over 2. So, substitute lang natin. Ang R1 natin ay 944.727 times sin I over 2. So, 15 over 2. Then, we'll get 246.623 meters. Then, para naman sa C2, 2 R2 sin I over 2. So, 2. Then, substitute natin yung R2, 229.183. Then, sin I over 2. So, ang I natin ay 15. So, ang C2 natin ay 59.829. So, kung gagamitin natin tong formula na to, pag-add natin silang dalawa, and we'll get 306.452 meters. So, kung mapapansin natin, pareho pa rin sila. So, tama ang pagkuha natin ng long chord. So, if the stationing of PC is 1 plus 234.567, compute the stationing of the PRC and PT. So, para naman sa PRC, bale, yung PRC kasi natin ay, nakita naman natin dito, ito. Ang PRC ay also known as point of reverse curvature. So, ayun na siya. Dito siya makikita. Okay, proceed tayo. So, para makuha yung PRC, we're going to use station of PC plus L1. So, since wala pa tayong L1, hanapin muna natin yung L1. And para makuha yung L1, we're going to use the formula 2 pi R1 times I over 360. Then substitute lang natin yung mga pwedeng substitute. So, ang R1 natin ay 944.727. Then, ang I naman natin ay 15 degree. All over 360 and we'll get 247.329 meters para sa L1. So, makukuha na natin yung station of PRC. So, since given naman yung station of PC, which is ito, substitute lang natin siya sa given formula ng station of PC plus L1. So, 1 plus 234.567 plus 247.329 and we'll get the PRC 1 plus 481.896. Para naman makuha yung station of PT, we're going to use station of PRC plus L2. Since may PRC na tayo, L2 na lang ang wala. So, same lang formula dito. We're going to use 2 pi times R2 times I all over 360. Then substitute. 2 pi times 229.183 times 15 times 360. All over 360. Divide siya sa 360. Sorry. And we'll get 60 meters. So, back to the formula, station of PT, station of PRC plus L2, then substitute lang natin to, 1 plus 481.896 plus 60, and we'll get 1 plus 541.896. Okay, for the next problem, para sa reverse curve. Same pa rin naman siya. Ang pinagkaiba niya lang dito, ang hinahanap na ngayon ay railroad. So, una, hanapin ulit natin yung radius of the first curve. Then, next yung common tangent of the curve. Then, next yung long chord. Then, i-compute natin ang station ng PRC and PT. Since ito ay railroad, so gagamit tayo ng chord basis. So, pag gagamit tayo ng chord basis, we're going to use the formula sin d2 over 2, which is equals to d2, so 5 degree over 2 equals to 10 R2. So, lalagay lang natin yan sa calculator and we'll get the R2, which is 229.256. So, mali lang din yung discrepancy nila. Then, para naman sa P, we're going to use R1 plus R2 times 1 minus cosine I. So, ang P ay alam naman natin na ito ay 40. Then, R2 is 229.256. Multiply sa 1 minus cosine 15 degree. And we'll get R1, which is 944.654. So, para makompute naman yung common tangent of the curve, gagamitin natin ulit yung dalawang formula para ma-check natin kung pareho ang kalalabasan. So, para sa unang formula, P equals to TC sin I. So, de-derive natin, TC equals to P over sin I. Then, ang P natin ay 40. Then, sin I, which is yung I natin ay 15. Ito. And we'll get 154.548 meters. Then, para gamitin naman natin yung usual na ginagamit natin formula, which is yung T1 plus T2. So, substitute lang. Gagamitin natin yung R1 plus R2 times tangent I over 2. Since, pinagsama na nga natin silang dalawa. Tapos, minadali na lang natin. Since, isa lang naman yung I kasi nila. So, ngayon, substitute 944.654 plus 229.256 times tangent 15 over 2 and we'll get 154.548 meters. So, same sila. Tama tayo. So, for the long chord, ganun ulit. Para makuha natin yung C, we're going to use P equals C sin I over 2. So, ang P natin ay 40 equals sa C sin I over 2, which is yung I natin ay 15. So, substitute. Then, we'll get C as 306.452. Sa C1 naman, sa next formula na gagamitin natin, which is yung C equals to C1 plus C2. So, una natin hanapin ay C1. 2R1 sine I over 2. So, substitute natin yung R1. 944.654 times sine 15 over 2. So, ang C1 natin ay 246.604. Then, sa C2 naman, 2R2 times sine I over 2. So, substitute natin yung R2. So, 2 times 229.256 times sine 15 over 2. And we'll get 59.848 meters. So, pag pinag-add natin yung dalawa, which is yung C1 plus yung C2, we'll get 306.452 meters. So, same lang ulit sila. For the stationing naman ng PRC and PT, we're going to use the formula of station of PC plus L1 to get the PRC. Okay, so una natin hanapin ulit ang L1 since meron naman na tayong PC. So, formula for L1, 2 pi R1 I over 360. So, substitute 2 pi times 944.654 times 50 over 360 and we'll get 247.310 meters. Then, substitute na natin to sa L1 sa given formula para makuha yung PRC. So, station of PC plus L1 magiging 1 plus 234.567 plus 247.310. So, pag pinag-add natin yan, makukuha natin yung 1 plus 481.877. So, ngayon, next naman natin kunin ay yung PT. So, station of PRC plus L2. So, meron na tayo ulit PRC. So, L2 na lang ang hanapin natin. So, we're going to use the formula 2 pi R2 times I over 360. So, mayroon naman na tayong R. So, substitute lang natin. So, 2 pi times 229.256 times 15 over 360. So, ang L2 natin ay 60.019. So, para makuha yung station of PT, gagamitin natin yung formula ng station of PRC plus L2. Substitute na lang natin yung mga kailangan, which is yung PRC. So, ito na yun. 1 plus 481.877 plus L2 natin na 60.019 and we'll get 1 plus 541.896 para sa station of PRC. Okay, for the next problem sa reverse curve. A highway and a railroad both consist of two parallel tangents 40 feet apart connected by a reverse curve. The central angle of the first curve is 15 degree and the degree curve of the second curve is 5 degree. For highway, compute the radius of the first curve, compute the common tangent of the curve, compute the long chord, and if the stationing of PC is 1 plus 234, it should be 12 plus 34.567. It should be like that since ito ay gumagamit ng English metric. Okay. Wait lang. Okay, so nagkamali lang po dun sa given. So, if the stationing of PC is 12 plus 34.567, compute the stationing of the PRC and PT. So, dito, nalaman ko agad na isa siyang English at hindi metric, dun pa lang sa given na 40 feet. So, nalaman ko agad na mali yung given, ay yung question agad na nailagay ko dito. So, dapat talaga ito ay 12 plus 34 since isa siyang English. Okay. So, ngayon, kukompute na natin yung radius of the first curve. So, dito, pinakita ko na para makuha natin yung R2, 1,145.916 times 5 over D2. So, hindi ko na siya sinunod ng isang bagsakan. So, para makita natin kung paano ba siya nagiging nag-iiba compare dun sa metric. So, ngayon, makukuha natin yung formula na 1,100, makukuha natin yung R2 na 1,145.916 feet. Then, para makuha naman natin yung R1, gagamitin ulit natin yung formula na P equals to R1 plus R2 times 1 minus cosine I. So, substitute lang natin since meron naman na tayo nitong P. So, 40 equals to R1 plus 1145.916, which is ito, times 1 minus cosine 15 degree. So, we'll get R1 equals to 27.994 feet. Okay, para makuha naman natin yung TC, tulad ulit ng ginawa natin kanina, gagamit tayo ng dalawang formula para ma-check natin kung pareho bang tama. So, P equals to TC times sin I. So, derive. So, magiging TC equals to P over sin I. So, substitute natin. TC equals to 40 over sin 15 degree and we'll get 154.548 feet. Then, sa TC naman na isang formula, which is yung T1 plus T2, gagamitin ulit natin yung R1 plus R2 times tangent I over 2. So, substitute lang natin. 27.994 plus yung R2 natin na 1,145.916 times tangent natin na 15 over 2. And we'll get 154.548 feet. So, same pa rin sila. Para naman sa long chord, gagamitin natin yung formula na P equals to C sin I over 2. Then, yung C equals to C1 plus C2. So, dun muna tayo sa P equals C sin I over 2. So, substitute natin. Ang P natin ay 40 equals to C sin I, which is yung 15. Ito. Over 2. So, makukuha natin na C ay 306.452 feet. Then, para naman sa C1 at C2, unahin natin yung C1. So, C1 equals to 2R1 sin I over 2. So, substitute natin. 2 times 27.994 times sin 15 over 2 and we'll get 7.308 feet. Para naman sa C2, 2 times R2 times sin I over 2. Then substitute lang natin. 2 times 1,145.916 times sin 15 over 2 and we'll get 299.144 feet. Then, pag-add natin yung dalawa, which is yung C1 at C2, and we'll get 306.452 feet. Okay? Pareho lang din sila. So, for the stationing of PRC and PT, having station of PC as 12 plus 34.567. So, una, kukunin muna natin itong PRC. And since meron tayong station of PC, ang hahanapin na lang natin ay L1. So, para makuha yung L1, we're going to use 2 pi R1 times I over 360. So, substitute lang natin yung R at yung I. So, 2 pi times 27.994 times 15 over 360 and we'll get 7.329 feet. So, makukuha na natin yung station of PRC. So, substitute lang natin siya sa formula. So, 12 plus 34.567 plus 7.329. So, ang station of PRC natin ay 12 plus 41.896. So, para makuha naman yung station of PT, we're going to use station of PRC plus L2. So, as usual, since meron na tayong station of PRC, L2 na lang ang hanapin natin. So, para mahanap yung L2, 2 pi R2 I over 360. So, 2 pi times R, which is 1,145.916, times I, which is 15 degree, all over 360. So, makukuha natin yung L2 as 300 feet. So, para makuha yung station of PT, gagamitin na ulit natin yung station of PRC plus L2. So, substitute lang natin. So, ang station of PRC natin ay 12 plus 41.896 plus natin sa L2 na 300. And we'll get 15 plus 41.896 para sa station of PRC. Okay, for the next question, which is yung railroad naman, since ang sabi dito kanina ay is a highway and a railroad. So, Tapos na tayo sa highway, railroad naman. Okay, tama naman ang stationing of PC dito. So, sa railroad, ganun din, hanapin natin yung radius of the first curve, tapos compute ng tangent of the curve, then compute the long chord, and stationing of PC is 12 plus 34.567, then compute natin yung station ng PRC and PP. So, dito, para ma-compute naman yung first curve, gagamitin natin yung sin d2 over 2 equals to 50 over r2. So, kung mapapansin nyo, hindi ko na ginawang 10 times 5, pero dun siya nakuha, kaya siya naging 50. Dahil sa 10 times 5. Since naka-English tayo. Okay, substitute lang natin. Ang dito natin ay 5 degree, so substitute. Then, input sa calculator and we'll get R2 equals to 1,146.279 feet. Then, para makuha naman natin yung R1, we're going to use P equals to R1 plus R2 times 1 minus cosine I. So, substitute lang natin to. So, 40 equals to R1 plus 1,146.279, which is yung R2, times 1 minus cosine 15 degree, which is ito, yung I. And we'll get the R1 as 27.631 feet. Next, kukunin naman natin yung common tangent or yung TC, yung total ng dalawa. So, gagamitin ulit natin yung dalawang formula para ma-make sure natin na tama yung sagot natin. So, para sa unang formula, P equals to TC times sin I over I. So, ide-derive natin ulit sila para makuha yung TC. So, TC equals to P over sin I. So, TC equals to 40, which is yung P, over sin 15, which is yung I. So, makukuha natin yung 154.548 feet. Then, para naman dito sa isa pang formula, which is yung TC equals T1 plus T2. So, para makuha natin kasi yung T1, di ba, ang gamit natin ay R1 times tangent I1 over 2. Tapos sa T2 ay R2 tangent I2 over 2. Yun yung ginamit nating formula para sa compound kanina, if maalala nyo. So, ngayon, pinagsama ko na sila. So, R1 plus R2 times tangent I over 2. So, 27.631 plus 1,146.279. Tangent 15 over 2. So, ang TC natin ay 154.548 feet. Para naman sa long chord, ang gagamitin nating formula ay P equals to C sin I over 2 at C equals to C1 plus C2. So, para sa unang formula, substitute lang ulit natin yung mga meron na tayo, which is yung P equals to 40. Ayan. Then, equals to C sin I over 2, which is yung I natin ay 15, kaya ito na. So, makukuha natin sa C ay 306.452 feet. So, sa C1 naman natin, since ito ang gagamitin natin, kailangan natin hanapin isa-isa itong dalawa. So, C1, 2R1 times sin I over 2. Then, substitute lang natin yung R1. So, 2 times 27.631 sin 15 over 2. So, C1 natin ay 7.213 feet. Para naman sa C2, 2R2 sin I over 2. So, para makuha natin yung R2, we're going to use gagamitin natin yung R2 na nakuha natin kanina. So, 2, substitute natin yung R2, which is 1,146.279 times sin 15 over 2. So, makukuha natin yung C2 na 299.239 feet. So, pag-add lang natin yung C1 at C2. So, 7.213 plus 299.239 equals to 306.452 feet. Para naman sa stationing ng PRC at PT, ganun ulit ang formula ng PRC, station of PC plus L1. So, meron na tayong PC, so L1 na lang. 2 pi RI1, 2 pi R1I over 360. So, substitute lang natin. So, 2 pi times 27.631 times 15 all over 360, and we'll get 7.234 feet. So, dahil meron na tayong L1, makukuha na natin yung PRC. So, para makuha yung PRC, we're going to use station of PC plus L1, then substitute lang natin. So, ang PC natin ay 12 plus 34.567 plus 7.234 feet. So, ang station of PRC natin ay 12 plus 41.801. Ngayon, para makuha naman yung station of PT, we're going to use station of PRC plus L2. So, 2 pi R2 times I over 360. That's the formula that we're going to use to find L2. So, substitute lang natin. 2 pi times 1,146.279 times 15 all over 360. And we'll get the value of L2, 300.095 feet. Okay, since meron na tayong L2, pwede na natin kunin yung PT. So, station of PT equals to station of PRC plus L2. So, 12 plus 41.801, which is yung PRC natin, plus 300.095, which is yung L2, and we'll get 15 plus 41.896. Okay? Then, ito na yung magiging sagot natin para sa PRC and station of PT. Sorry. Na-type ko lang po ulit. Ito ay PT. Okay, so that's it. We have the station of PT and station of PRC. Okay, so for our next topic, we have So for our next topic, we have spiral curve. So for the spiral curve, the first given problem is two tangents having an azimuth of 218 degree and 282 degree meet at station 1 plus 234.567 are connected by a spiral by 345 meter spiral curve with a 3-degree circular curve used for light rail transit and South Luzon Expressway. For letter A, what is the stationing of the TS, SC, CS, and ST of the rail transit? And for letter B, what is the stationing of the TS, SC, CS, and ST of the South Luzon Expressway? So, take note dun sa TS, ST, yung mga ganun, kasi ang TS, ibig sabihin nun, tangent to spiral. Then, para naman sa SC, spiral to curve. Yes. Then, para naman sa CS, curve to spiral. And syempre, yung ST, spiral to tangent. Okay, so, kung mapapansin nyo, hindi na siya nagsabi ng railroad or highway. Pero, ayos lang yun, since ang nakalagay naman doon ay South Luzon Expressway at Light Rail Transit or LRT. So, madidistinguish pa rin natin kung ito ba ay kung ito ba ay arc or chord basis. Then, para makuha naman tong I, ito. So, 282 degree minus 218 equals to 64. So, yan na yung I natin. So, para makuha yung sa stationing of the TS, SC, CS, and SC, ST of the light rail transit, so, kinuha muna natin yung R. So, since nakikita natin na unang binigay na problem ay light rail transit, so, gagamit agad tayo ng chord instead of arc, unlike sa previous natin ginawa. So, para makuha yung R, sin DC over 2 equals to 10 over RC. So, substitute lang din natin yung D. So, 3. So, sin 3 over 2 equals to 10 over RC. So, makukuha natin ang RC natin bilang 382.016 meters. And para naman sa SC, or also known as spiral angle at SC, spiral angle nito. So, LS over 2RC times 180 over pi. Yun yung gagamitin natin yung formula para makuha yung spiral angle sa SC or spiral to curve. So, substitute natin yung LS. Yung LS naman, yun yung length of spiral, also known as LC. Pero, we're going to use LS. Ito. So, ito siya. 345. So, ang LS natin ay 345 over 2 times RC, which is ito, 382.016 times 180 over pi. So, makukuha natin yung SC natin or yung spiral angle bilang 25 degree and 52 minutes and 19.24 seconds. So, para makuha naman yung IC, we're going to use I equals to IC plus 2SC. So, ano nga ba yung IC? IC, ito yung angle of intersection of simple curve. So, para makuha yan, de-derive natin siya. So, ang I natin dito ay So, since equals din naman siya. So, ang SC natin dito ay 25 degree, 52 minutes and 19.24 seconds. So, ito na siya. Times na natin siya dito. Then, magiging IC plus 2 times 25 degree, 52 minutes and 19.24 seconds. So, asa na yung I? So, since equal lang naman silang dalawa, so, pwede nating assume na ang IC at I ay iisa lang. So, pag pinag-times natin silang dalawa, we'll get 12 degree, 15 minutes, and 21.52 seconds. Okay, again. So, para naman dito sa IC, since nakuha na natin kanina ang I, which is ito, 64 degree. So, may value talaga siya. So, dito ilalagay natin 64 degree. So, ayan. Okay. So, yan. Since meron tayong I na 64 degree, sorry, nagkamali po kanina. So, since meron tayong I na 64 degree equals to IC plus 2SC. So, ang SC natin ay 25 degree and 52 minutes and 19.24 seconds. So, 64 degree equals to IC plus 2 times 25 degree, 52 minutes, 19 and 20, 52 minutes and 19.24 seconds. We'll get the IC of 12.256 or pag kinonvert na natin siya sa DMS, magiging 12 degree, 15 minutes, and 21.52 seconds. Okay, so since meron na tayong IC, ang next naman natin kukunin is yung TS. So, ano nga ba yung TS? TS naman, ito yung tangent distance. So, para makuha yung tangent distance, we're going to use the formula LS over 2 plus RC plus TS times tangent I over 2. So, may bago na naman yung TS. So, need muna natin kunin yung TS. So, para makuha natin yung TS, we're going to use LS squared over 24 RC. So, ayan na. So, balik na tayo dito sa formula para dire-diretso. So, ang TS natin ay LS 345 over 2 plus RC, which is ito, 382.016 plus PS, which is yung LS, which is ito, sinubstitute ko na rin, 345 squared over 24 RC, which is 382.016. times tangent 64 degree, which is itong I na to, over 2. So, makukuha natin yung TS natin bilang 419.322. So, yan na yung tangent distance natin. So, para naman sa LC, pi over 180 times RC times IC. So, substitute natin, pi over 180 times 382.016 times 12 degree, 15 minutes and 21.52 seconds. So, we'll get the LC as 81.266 meters. So, having that answer, makukuha na natin yung station ng TS, SC, CS, and ST. So, para naman sa TS, we're going to use station of vertex minus yung TS, which is ito. So, gagamitin natin yung 419.322. Ima-minus lang natin siya dito sa station ng vertex, which is 1 plus 234.567. And we'll get 0 plus 815.245. Para naman sa station ng SC, we're going to use station of B minus TS plus LS. So, ang station of vertex natin ay 1 plus 234.567. While yung TS naman ay 419.322. So, nadagdagan naman siya ng isa pa, which is yung LS, which is 345. And we'll get the station of SC as 1 plus 160.245. Para naman sa station of CS, station of B minus TS plus LS plus LC. So, station of B, meron na tayo niyan, which is 1,234.567 minus TS, 419.322 plus LS, which is 345 plus LC, which is 81.166. And we'll get the station of CS, 1 plus 241.511. So, as you can see, may pattern siya. Bali, nagdadagdag lang tayo ng dadagdag. Pero ang ginawa ko dito is, inisa-isa ko na lang. So, pwede natin sabihin na station of CS plus LS, makukuha na natin yung station of ST. So, kung gagamitin natin yung station of CS, which is 1 plus 241.511, yun yung magiging total nitong station of B, TS, LS, pati LC. Then, i-add lang natin yung 1,241.511 sa LS, which is 345, and we'll get 1 plus 586.511. So, makukuha na natin yung station of ST. Para naman sa B, so what is the stationing of the TS, SC, CS, and ST of the South Luzon Expressway? So, expressway meaning highway siya. So, gumamit tayo ng arc basis. So, para sa RC, gagamitin na natin yung normal na formula, which is yung 1,145.916 all over DC. So, substitute lang natin yung D. So, magiging 3. Then, compute. So, magiging 381.972 siya. Para naman sa SC, we're going to use LS over 2RC times 180 times 180 over pi. So, substitute natin. So, 345 over 2 times 381.972 multiplied by 180 over pi. So, we'll get 25 degree, 52 minutes, and 29.97 seconds. So, maliit lang din ang discrepancy. So, para naman sa IC, gagamitin ulit natin yung I equals to IC plus 2SC. So, ang IC natin ay i-derive natin yung formula. So, magiging IC equals to I minus 2SC. So, 64 degree minus 2 times 25 degree, 52 minutes and 29.97 seconds. So, tulad kanina, makukuha natin IC ay 12 degree, 15 minutes and 0.06. So, maliit lang yung discrepancy nilang dalawa. Okay, so para sa TS, we're going to use LS over 2 plus RC plus PS times tangent I over 2. So, alam naman natin na ang PS, meron na siyang sariling formula na ls over 2 ay ls squared over 24rc, sorry. So, ilalagay na lang agad natin siya dito. So, ang magiging formula na ng ps ay ls over 2 plus rc plus ls squared over 24rc times tangent I over 2. So, substitute na natin yung given. So, ang ls natin ay 345. Magiging 345 over 2 plus rc natin, which is 381.972 plus ls squared, which is 345 squared, then 24 times rc, which is 381.972. Then, times natin siya sa tangent, 64 degree, which is yung I over 2. And we'll get the PS, which is 419.296. Para naman makuha natin yung LC, we're going to use the formula RC times IC times pi over 180. So, para sa RC, we're going to use 381.972 times IC, which is 12 degree, 15 minutes, and 0.06 seconds. Then, next, times din natin sila sa pi over 180 and we'll get LC as 81.667. So, para sa station of TS, we're going to use station of B minus TS. So, ang station of B natin ay 1 plus 234.567 minus natin sa TS na 419.296. So, 0 plus 810.271, yun yung station of TS natin. And for the station of SC, ganun ulit. Station of B minus TS plus LS, or station of TS, i-add na lang natin siya sa LS. So, 0 plus 810.271, add natin sa 345, and we'll get 1 plus 160.271. So, again, bakit ganun yung ginawa ko? Kasi, yung station of TS niya ay station of vertex minus TS, which is ito, di ba? So, ngayon, since nakuha na natin yung value nito, which is ito, station of TS, so, pwede natin to i-substitute as station of TS plus LS. And we're going to get 1 plus 160.271, which is same din kung i-manual natin ng isa-isa at kung gagamitin natin to. So, for station of CS, we're going to use station of SC or station of B minus TS plus LC. Tapos, i-add natin sila sa LC. So, 1 plus 234.567 minus 419.296 plus 345 plus 81.667, and we'll get 1 plus 241.938. So, para sa station of ST naman, we're going to use station of B minus TS plus LS plus LC plus LS. So, 1 plus 234.567 minus 419.296 plus 345 plus 81.667 plus 345, and we'll get 1 plus 586.938. Okay, for the next spiral curve, ito naman ay English. Bakit siya English? Dahil dito sa given problem, which is ito, two tangents having an azimuth of 218 and 282 degree meet at station 12 plus 34.567 are connected by a 345 feet spiral curve with a 3-degree circular curve used for light rail transit and South Luzon Expressway. So, unlike dito, ito 1 plus 234, kaya ito naging metric. So, ngayon tayo ay gagamit ng English since ito ay 12 plus 34. So, as usual, para makuha natin yung I, gumamit tayo ng minus sa 282 na azimuth at 218. So, nakuha natin yung 64 degree. Then, next, para sa A, kukunin natin yung stationing ng TS, SC, CS, and ST of the light rail transit. So, ito, since English na siya, tapos LRT, so chord siya, gagamitin natin basis ay chord, and ang system na gagawin natin na English system. So, ang DC natin dito ay 3 degree. So, ang gagamitin natin formula ay sin D over 2 equals to 50 RC. Alam naman na natin kung paano nakuha yung 50, di ba? So, proceed na tayo. Substitute na natin yung 3. So, makukuha natin RC ay 1,910.078 feet. Then, para naman sa SC na to, LS over 2RC times 180 over pi. Then, substitute lang natin. So, magiging 345 over 2 times yung RC, which is 1,910.078 multiply sa 180 over pi. So, makukuha natin yung SC or yung SC as 5 degree and 10 minutes and 27.87 seconds. So, yan yung spiral angle. So, next, para naman sa IC, ganun ulit tulad ng ginamit natin kanina para makuha yung angle of intersection of ito ay angle of intersection of simple curve. Lagi natin tatandaan. So, ngayon, ang I natin ay 64 degree equals to IC, which is yung hinahanap, plus 2 SC, which is ito. Ang SC natin ay 5 degree and 10 minutes and 27.87 seconds. And we'll get the value of IC, which is 53 degree and 39 minutes and 4.26 seconds. So, next, after natin makuha yung IC, we're going to get naman yung TS. So, for the formula of TS, ganun pa rin, LS over 2 plus RC plus TS times tangent I over 2. Then, ang formula ng PS ay LS squared over 24RC. So, isa-substitute lang natin siya dito sa formula na to. So, ngayon, ito na siya. Ito ang kakalabasan niya. Once na-substitute na natin yung LS, which is 345, RC, which is 1,910.078, and yung PS, which is ito. So, 345 squared over 24 times 1,910.078, which is yung RC natin. So, ngayon, times din natin sila sa tangent 64, which is yung I over 2. So, ang TS natin is 1,367.672. So, next, kukunin natin yung LC. So, pi over 180 times RC times IC. So, binaligtad ko lang siya. Pareho pa rin. So, pi over 180 times 1,910.078 times 53 degree, 39 minutes, and 4.26 seconds. So, ang LC natin ay magiging 1,788.578. Having that, makukuha na natin yung station na kinakailangan sa problem. So, station of TS equals to station of vertex minus TS. So, 12 plus 34.567 minus 1,367.672. And we'll get negative 1 plus 33.105. Take note na yung TS na nasa ito at ito ay magkaiba. So, ang TS na gamit natin sa pag-solve is yun yung tangent distance. Tapos, yung hinahanap natin na station is station from tangent to spiral naman. So, hindi sila same. So, ayun, move on sa next na station. Station of SC or spiral to curve. Ang gagamitin natin formula ay station of vertex minus TS plus LS. So, substitute. So, 12 plus 34.567 minus 1,367.672 plus 345. And we'll get 2 plus 11.895. Sa CS naman or curve to spiral, we're going to station of vertex minus TS plus LC plus LS plus LC. So, 12 plus 34.567 minus 1,367.672 plus 345 plus 1,788.578, and we'll get station of CS 20 plus 00.473. So, sa station of ST naman, we're going to use station of B minus TS plus LS plus LC plus LS. So, substitute 12 plus 34.567 minus 1,367.672 plus 345 plus 1,788.578 plus 335, and we'll get 23 plus 45.473. Next is the letter B. So, same question, pero ang pinagkaiba, ito ay South Luzon Expressway. So, since may nakalagay na expressway, South Luzon Expressway, alam natin na arc basis agad yan, since ito ay highway. So, para makuha natin yung RC, hindi ko na ulit siya dinerecho. So, nilagyan ko na lang ng times 5, which is yun yung kinaibahan niya sa metric. So, ang English, lagi natin tatandaan, pag kukunin ng R, lagi natin ito times sa 5 yun nasa taas. So, 1,145.916 times sa 5 over DC, which is yung D natin ay 3. So, makukuha natin RC ay 1,909.860 feet. Then, find SC. So, ang SC natin, gagamit tayo ng LS over 2RC times 180 over pi. So, ang spiral angle natin sa SC ay magiging 5 degree and 10 minutes and 29.99 seconds using this solution, which is 345 over 2 times 1,909.860 times 180 over pi. Para naman makuha yung IC, gagamitin ulit natin ang formula na I equals to IC plus 2SC. So, IC equals to I minus 2SC. So, magiging 64 degree minus 2 times 5 degree, 10 minutes and 29.99 seconds. So, ang IC natin ay 53 degree, 39 minutes and 0.02 seconds. So, para sa TS, or yung tangent distance natin, LS over 2 plus RC plus PS times tangent I over 2. So, same lang siya dun sa kaninang formula. So, ang PS natin ay LS squared ay over 24 RC. So, substitute lang natin silang lahat. So, makukuha natin yung 345 over 2 plus 1,909.860 plus 345 squared over 24 plus 20 over 24 times 1,909.860 over tangent 64 degree over 2. I mean, 345 squared times over 24 times 1,909.860 close parenthesis times tangent 64 degree over 2, and we'll get 1,367.536 feet. Para naman sa LC, we're going to use RC times IC times pi over 180. So, substitute natin. 1,909.860 times 53 degree, 39 minutes and 0.02 seconds times pi over 180. So, makukuha natin yung LC natin bilang 1,788.334 feet. Having that, makukuha na natin yung station of TS using the formula station of B minus TS. So, 12 plus 34.567 minus 1,367.536, and we'll get negative 1 plus 32.969. Para naman sa SC, we're going to use station of B minus TS plus LC, or station of TS plus LS. Sorry, not LC, it's LS. So, 12 plus 34.567 minus 1,367.536 plus 345, and we'll get 2 plus 12.031. Sa station of CS naman, we're going to use station of B minus TS plus LS plus LC, or station of SC plus LC. So, if gagawin natin station of SC plus LC, so, ang i-add lang natin ay 2 plus 12.031 plus 1,788.334, and same pa rin naman na makukuha natin na 20 plus 00.365. Para naman sa station of ST, we're going to use station of B minus TS plus LS plus LC plus LS. So, pwede rin gamitin natin na station of CS plus LS kung gusto nyo mas madali. Then, if gagawin natin station of CS plus LS, mas madali talaga siya kasi 20 plus 00.365, i-add lang natin siya sa 345. So, automatic magiging 23 plus 45.365. And yan yung magiging sagot para sa last problem natin sa spiral curve. Okay, for our next topic, last two. So for our next topic, it is symmetrical curve. So the question is, the forward and backward tangent grades of symmetrical vertical parabolic curve are plus 10% and negative 6%. Respectively, the elevation of the beginning of the curve is 123.456 meters and the elevation of the end of the curve is 125.856 meters. The station of PC is 1 plus 234.567. And for letter A, compute the length of the curve. Ito. Sorry, typo lang po ito. For letter B, what is the stationing and elevation of the vertex? And for letter C, what is the stationing and elevation of the lowest point of curve? So, based dito sa given, sabi dito, plus 10%. So, lagi natin tatandaan na ito yan eh. So, ito, plus 10%. So, ascending siya. Then, yung backward, which is ito, 6%, negative 6%, backward tangent niya, which is ito. So, descending naman siya. So, having this kind of figure, malalaman natin na ito ay isang subcurve. Okay, so to compute the length of the curve, we're going to solve first for Z1. So, Z1 equals to 0.06. So, saan galing yung 0.06? Itong 6%. So, ito. Yan. Times L over 2. So, L over 2 is ito. Then, yung sa Z2 naman, which is itong another triangle na to. So, 0.10, which is ito. Times L over 2. So, ngayon, wala pa tayong L. So, una natin hahanapin para ma-solve natin ang Z1 at Z2. Hanapin muna natin yung L. So, to find L, we're going to use the formula elevation of PT equals to elevation of PC minus Z1 plus Z2. So, ang elevation of PT natin is 100. So, ang ginawa naman dito, pinag-minus naman yung PT and yung PC. And as we all know, elevation of PT, which is ito, so 125.856, and yung elevation of PC naman is 123.456. So, having that, ililipat lang natin ito dito. So, magiging elevation of PT minus elevation of PC. So, 125.856 minus 123.456, and we'll get 2.4 equals negative Z1, which is ito, plus Z2. So, para mas maayos yung itsura, binabaliktad ko sila. So, magiging 2.4 equals to Z2 minus Z1. So, ngayon, alam naman natin na ang Z2, ito yun, which is ito, 0.10 L over 2. So, cancel, magiging 0.05 L. Then, yung Z1, which is 0.06 times L over 2. So, para matanggal yung 2, kinancel natin sa 0.06. So, magiging 0.03 L. So, 2.4 equals to 0.05 L minus 0.03 L, and we'll get 120 meters pag na-solve natin sa calcu. So, for letter B, what is the stationing and elevation of the vertex? So, to get that, first, we're going to find station of B. So, ang station of B natin ay station of PC plus L over 2. So, ito yun. Saan galing yung 60? Since ang L natin ay 120, tapos ang kailangan ay L over 2, so, ginawa na agad natin siyang 60. Kasi makikita naman natin dito, bali ito yung 120, tapos ito yung L2 which is 60, 60. Okay? So, since meron na tayo nito, so pwede na natin makuha yung station of B which is 1 plus 294.567. And yun yung station ng vertex natin. Paano natin nakuha? Gamit yung station of PC which is 1 plus 234.567 plus 60 meters na galing sa L2. Kaya nakuha natin yan. So next, elevation of B or vertex. Para naman makuha elevation of vertex, gagamitin natin yung elevation of PC minus Z1 plus Y. So, ano nga ba yung elevation of PC natin? So, ang elevation of PC natin ay 123.456 meters. Then, minus Z1. So, wala pa yan. Tapos, plus Y, which is H equals to Y din daw. So, para mahanap natin yan, isosolve muna natin yung Z1. So, para sa Z1, 0.06 L over 2. So, hindi ko na muna ginawang ganito para mas mapakita sa inyo. Bali, ito na lang yung kinuha ko mismo. So, since L2, L over 2 naman to, so, ito automatic na ito ay magiging 60 meters. So, 0.06 times 60 equals to 3.6 meters. So, ito na yung magiging Z1 natin. Para naman sa H, ang formula na gagamitin natin ay L over 8 times G2 minus G1 equals 2.4 meters. So, paano nakuha yung 2.4? So, 120 minus, over 8 and so, again, H equals L over 8 times G2 minus G1. So, L, which is 120 over 8. Then, G2 minus G1. So, ang G2 natin is yung forward tangent, which is itong 10%. Minus natin sa G1, which is yung negative 6%. So, we'll get 2.4 meters. Next, para naman makuha yung Y over X squared equals to H over L over 2 squared. So, alam naman natin na ang Y ang hinahanap. So, i-derive natin siya. Magiging Y equals to 2.4, which is yung H, times 60, which is yung X squared. Then, yung L2 natin ay 60 rin. So, 60 squared. Then, makukuha natin yung Y as 2.4 meters. So, having that, makukuha na natin yung elevation of vertex. So, elevation of PC, which is 123.456 minus Z1, which is 3.6, plus Y, which is 2.4, will get 122.256 meters. So, sa C, station of PC, so what is the station and elevation of the lowest point of the curve? So, lowest point of the curve, which is yung S. So, S1 equals to G1L over G1 minus G2. So, para makuha natin yan, substitute lang natin sila. So, ang G1 natin ay ito, ang back tangent, which is yung negative 6%. Ito. So, G1 times L, which is 120 over G1 minus G2. So, ang G1 natin ay negative 6 minus G2, and we'll get 45 meters. So, para ma-sure natin na tama ang nakuha ang S1, ito siya. Ayan. So, ganyan kinuha yung sa S1 ko. Next is yung G1. Z1. So, para sa Z1, 0.06, which is yung G1 natin times lang sa 45 which is yung S1. So, ang makukuha natin sa G1 ay 2.7. Then, para naman sa Y, gagamitin ulit natin ang formulang Y over X squared equals to H over L over 2 squared. So, i-derive natin siya. Magiging Y equals to 2.4 times 45 squared all over 60 squared. So, ang H natin ay ito. Okay. So, ang magiging Y natin is 1.35 meters. So, para naman sa station of S, gagamitin natin formula is station of PC plus S1. So, ito, 45. So, station of PC, again, 1 plus 234.567 plus 45 meters, and we'll get 1 plus 279.567. Para naman sa elevation of S, we're going to use elevation of PC minus Z1 plus Y. So, nakuha naman na natin ang Z1 at Y. So, elevation of PC, which is 123.456, minus natin sa 2.7, which is yung Z1, plus 1.35, which is yung Y, and we'll get elevation of S, 122.106 meters. Okay? Okay, para naman sa next topic or next problem, symmetrical curve pa rin. Then, the forward and the backward tangent grades of the symmetrical vertical parabolic curve are plus 10% and negative 6%. Respectively, the elevation of the beginning of the curve is 123.456 meters, and the elevation of the end of the curve is 125.856 feet. Sorry, na-typo lang po ulit. So, ito ay should be feet since ito ay English. Okay, there you go. Ayan. So, ang elevation of the beginning of the curve, which is yung sa PC, ay 123.456 feet, and the elevation of the end of the curve, which is yung PT, ito, so 125.856 feet, and the station of PC is 12 plus 34.567. So, for A, compute the length of the curve, and for B, mali ulit, what is the stationing and elevation of the vertex, and for C, what is the stationing and elevation of the lowest point of the curve. So, dito, tulad nung una nating problem, ang kanyang forward tangent ay plus 10%, so ascending siya, pataas. So, ang gamit natin dito ay pataas. So, ito siya. Ito yung forward tangent natin. So, plus 10%. And next, negative 6% naman para sa backward tangent. Ibig sabihin, descending siya. So, pababa. So, ito siya. So, having that, given forward and backward tangent, madidistinguish natin na isa siyang sag curve. Okay. So, next, dahil din sa station, kaya natin nalaman na English siya. So, for letter A, compute length of the curve. So, katulad ng kanina, ganun pa rin ang ginawa natin. Una natin kinuha yung sa Z1 at sa Z2. So, 0.06 L over 2 para sa Z1, and sa Z2, 0.10 L over 2. Tapos, para naman makuha natin yung L, una, inilagay muna natin elevation of PT equals to elevation of PC minus Z1 plus Z2. So, sa elevation of PT, 125.856 feet equals to elevation of PC, 123.456 feet minus Z1 and Z2. So, ngayon, elevation of PC natin, inilipat lang natin siya sa kabilang side, which is katabi ng elevation of PT. So, ang magiging itsura niya dapat ay elevation of PT minus elevation of PC equals negative Z1 plus Z2. So, pwede natin silang pagbaliktarin, magiging Z2 minus Z1. Then, 125.856 feet minus 123.456 feet, magiging 2.4. So, having that, makukuha na natin yung L na 120 feet. So, basically, same lang din siya dun sa metric. Ang pinagkaiba lang nila is yung unit. Okay? So, para naman sa B, what is the stationing and elevation of the vertex? So, para sa station of B, ang gagamitin natin formula is station of PC plus L over 2. So, station of PC, ano nga ba ang station of PC natin? This one. Okay, wait lang. So, ito yung station of PC natin. So, 12 plus 34.567 plus L over 2, which is ito, 60 feet. So, having that, makukuha natin yung station of B natin na 12 plus 94.567. Sa elevation of B naman, ganun din. Para makuha to, gagamitin natin elevation of PC, which is ito, minus Z1 plus Y. So, ngayon, wala ulit tayong Z1 at Y. So, hahanapin natin sila. So, para makuha yung Z1, gagamitin natin yung formula kanina, which is yung 0.06 times L over 2. So, ngayon, alam naman natin na ang L over 2 ay 60 feet. Ito. So, 0.06 times 60 equals to 3.6. So, ang Z1 natin ay 3.6 feet. Then, H, para makuha naman natin yung Y, using this formula, para malaman natin kung same. So, H equals to L over 8 times G2 minus G1. So, ang L natin is 120 over 8. Tapos, yung G2 natin, ito yung sa forward tangent. So, 0.10. Tama ba? Okay, ito. Ito siya. G2. Then, ang G1 natin is ito, 6%. Bakit siya ganon? Since siya ay sa curve, kaya ganyan yung nagamit natin na format. So, ayun na nga. So, pag nasolve na natin sila, magiging 2.4 feet. Then, para naman sa Y, dapat equal ang H at Y. So, Y over X squared equals to H over L over 2 squared. So, Y equals to 2.4 times 60 squared over 60 squared. So, ang Y natin ay magiging 2.4 feet. So, kung 2.4 to, so, elevation of PC which is elevation of PC which is 123.456 minus Z1 which is ito, 3.6 feet plus Y which is 2.4 and we'll get 122.256 feet. Para naman sa C, what is the station and elevation of the lowest point of curve or yung S? Okay. So, para naman dito, ang gagamitin natin formula para makuha yung S1 is G1L over G1 minus G2. So, ang G1 natin, again, is 6% times L, which is 120, over G1 minus G2. So, negative 6% minus 10%, and we'll get also 45 feet, just like the previous problem. Then, after that, kukunin natin yung Z1. So, S1 is 45 feet. So, 0.06 times 45, makukuha natin yung 2.7 feet. So, having that, makukuha na rin natin yung Y using the same formula, which is yung Y over X squared equals to H over L over 2 squared. So, derive natin siya. Magiging Y equals to 2.4 times 45 squared over 60 squared. Okay? So, ang magiging Y natin ay 1.35 feet. For the station of S or the lowest point of curve, station of S will be used station of PC plus S1 to get the station of S. So, station of PC, 12 plus 34.567 plus S1 natin, which is 45 feet. So we'll get 12 plus 79.567 as the answer. So sa elevation of S naman, we're going to use elevation of PC, which is 123.456 feet, minus Z1 plus Y. So ang Z1 natin ay alam naman na natin, 2.7. Then yung Y naman natin ay 1.35. So elevation of S will be 122.106. Okay. So for our last topic, which is the asymmetrical curve, an asymmetrical vertical parabolic curve has a forward descending grade of 4% and backward ascending grade of 3.2% that meet at station 4 plus 210 with an elevation of 350 meters at station 4 plus 160. The elevation of the curve is 348 meters. If the length of the curve at the back tangent is 100 meters, determine the total length of the curve, determine the elevation of S, determine the elevation at station 4 plus 240. So, based dito sa given na to, makikita natin na sabi, yung 4% daw ng forward is descending. So, pag descending, meaning pababa. That's why we're going to use negative 4% since may word na descending. And descending. Kaya negative siya. The next, backward ascending grade of 3.2%. So, ibig sabihin, pag 3.2% daw na yun, yung nasa backward, which is ito, itong pababa na to, itong nasa likod na part. So, ascending daw siya. So, imbis na pababa, siya ay pataas, unlike sa previous na given. So, since siya ay ascending, which is ito, siya ay positive. So, ang magiging itsura ng curve natin, or ng figure ay summit curve. Then, aside from that, malalaman din nating metric siya, dahil nga dito sa 210. So, automatic, pag 4 plus 210, madidistinguish agad natin siya na metric at hindi English. So, aside doon, yung unit din na meters. So, let's determine na the total length of the curve. So, to determine the total length of the curve, Y is equals to elevation of vertex minus Z minus elevation of A. So, una natin hahanapin dyan is yung Y. I mean, yung Z. So, para mahanap yung Z, gumawa tayo ng triangle, which is ito. So, saan nanggaling yung 50? Yung 50 na yan, itong 50 na yan, nanggaling sila dito sa dalawang to. So, pag pinag-minus natin, 4,210 minus 4,160, ang lalabas dyan ay 50. That's why, siya ay 50. And ito naman, sa 30 na to, 4,240 minus 4,210, lalabas dyan ay 30. Kaya dyan natin siya nakuha. So ngayon, itong triangle na to, ito siya. Ito, yan, paganyan. So, yung paganto na to, ito. Yung paganto na to, ito siya. Kaya 3.2% or 0.032. Then ito, so equals naman to dito, so 50. Okay, then is Z. Yan na yun. So, to determine the Z, the formula that we're going to use is G times X. So, ang G natin ay 0.032, while yung X naman natin ay 50. So, having that, makukuha natin ang sagot na Z is equals to 1.6 meters. So, since meron na tayong Z, pwede na nating masolve yung Y. Para masolve yung Y, gagamit tayo ng elevation of vertex minus Z minus elevation of A. So, ang elevation of vertex natin is 350, which is ito. Elevation. Elevation of vertex siya kasi sabi, dun daw nag-meet. Meet at station. Meet at station. So, ito siya. Itong part na to. Yan. Vertex. Then, next, elevation of A, which is 348. So, ito, the elevation of the curve is 348. Since ito, meet a station, ito yung vertex, diba? So, ito yung A. A. 348. Okay. So, yung y natin is 0.4 pag pinag-minus na silang tatlo. Then, for the value of h, y over x squared equals to h over L1 squared. So, i-ano natin sila. Babaguhin natin para mahanap natin yung h. So, magiging h equals to y L1 squared over x squared. Ayan. So, cross multiply y times L1 squared. Ito na sila. Then, x squared. Ito. So, having that formula, we're going to substitute the given. So, yung y natin, which is 0.4, ito na siya. Then, yung L natin, which is 100. As we can see, ito. 100 squared over x squared, which is itong 50. So, ang h natin ay magiging 1.6. Now, since meron naman tayong L1, which is 100, ang hanapin na lang natin is L2. So, for the L2, ang gagamitin natin formula ay 2h L1, which yung L1, over G1 minus G2 times L1 minus 2h. So, yung h natin is 1.6, so isa-substitute lang natin siya sa h. Then, yung L1 ay 100. Tapos, sa over G1 minus G2. So, yung G1 natin is 0.032 or yung 3.2% minus negative 4%. So, negative 0.04 or pwede rin natin gawin tong 0.032 plus 0.04 times 100 which is yung L1 minus 2 tapos h times h which is yung 1.6. So, pag sinolve natin to, makukuha natin yung 80 meters. Ngayon, yung total length or length of the curve, makukuha natin siya sa pamagitan ng pag-add ng L1 plus L2. So, since L1 natin ay 100, ang L2 natin ay 80, so ang magiging final answer natin is 180 meters. Next, determine the elevation of S. So, para ma-determine yung elevation of S, una natin kukunin yung L1G1 or L1G1 over 2, which is ito yung magde-determine kung saan manggagaling yung lowest point ng S or yung S kung saan manggagaling yung lowest point. So, L1G1 over 2. Nilagay ko siya na equals H kasi since ang L1 natin is 100 and G1 natin is 0.032 over 2, ang lalabas diyan ay 1.6. Ngayon, kung maaalala nyo, ang ating H is 1.6. So, anong ibig sabihin nun pag pareho sila? So, possible or kinonclude ko na yung S natin or yung lowest point ay manggagaling sa vertex. So, for example, alam naman kasi natin, di ba, na ang formula na pag ang L1G1 over 2 ay mas malaki sa H, ibig sabihin nun, manggagaling siya sa PT. While pag mas maliit naman yung L1G1 kaysa sa H, manggagaling naman siya sa PC. So, since equal sila, na-conclude ko na yung H or yung lowest point ay manggagaling sa vertex since yung H is lagi lang naman siyang nasa ilalim ng vertex. Kung maaalala nyo sa figure, lagi lang naman nandito banda ang H. So, having that, malalaman agad natin na yung H, yung position ng S ay nasa vertex side. So, dahil doon, ang magiging process natin is elevation of S equals to elevation of V minus H. So, para ma-determine natin yung lowest point, elevation ng lowest point natin, ima-minus lang natin yung elevation of vertex sa H. So, having that, we're just going to substitute 350 minus 1.6 equals to 348.400 meters. So, yan na yung elevation of S natin. So, sa C naman, determine the elevation at station 4 plus 240. So, ito, 240. So, dito naman siya. Dito naman natin magagamit tong 30 na to. So, yan o. Para makuha natin yung Y, we're going to use the formula Y over X squared equals to H over L2 squared. So, ang Y natin is 1.6. Yung H natin yung 1.6, then times sa X squared, which is 50 squared over L2 squared, which is yung 80, yung nakuha natin kanina. So, ang magiging y natin ay 0.625 meters. So, para naman ma-determine natin yung z, which is yun nandito, gagamitin na natin yung 30 and yung 0.04. So, using that, para makuha natin yung z, gagamitin natin yung formula na g times x. So, ang g natin ay 0.04 times 30, which is yung x na nakuha natin sa 4 plus 240. So, ang magiging z natin is 1.2 meters. So, ngayon, para makuha natin yung elevation of B, or yung elevation at station 4 plus 240, we're just going to minus elevation of B minus Z minus Y. So, 350 minus 1.2 minus 0.6, 625 to. So, 0.625. Okay. So, 0.625 na typo lang po. So, ang magiging sagot natin is 348.175 meters. So, ayun po. Next, for another problem sa symmetrical curve. An asymmetrical vertical parabolic curve has a forward descending grade of 4% and backward ascending grade of 3.2% that meet at station 42 plus 10 with an elevation of 350 feet. At station 41 plus 60, the elevation of the curve is 348 feet if the length of the curve at the back tangent is 100 feet. Determine the total length of the curve, determine the elevation of S, and determine the elevation at station 42 plus 40. So, dito naman, kung papansin naman natin dito, ito, yung mga station niya, kung kanina nasa 100, ito nasa 10. So, automatic na yan, ang gagamitin natin is English basis. Then, since ginagamit niya rin ay feet, so yan, English din yan. So, same pa rin naman siya ng figure at ng given doon. Nagbago lang naman siya ng stationing at ng units. So, determine the total length of the curve. So, first, ano nga ba ulit ang formula for y? Elevation of vertex minus z minus elevation of a. So, hanapin ulit natin yung z. So, same pa rin dito. Ito. So, ang gagamitin pa rin natin ay z 50 tas yung 0.032. So, substitute lang natin sa formula na g times x. So, 0.032 times 50 equals to 1.6 feet. Take note, feet na siya, hindi na siya meters. So, since meron na tayong z, pwede na natin makuha yung y, which is 0.4 na nanggaling sa 350, which is yung elevation of vertex, minus sa z, which is 1.6, and minus elevation of a, which is 348. So, ang y natin ay magiging 0.4. And for the value of h naman, ang gagamitin natin ulit na formula ay y over x squared equals to h over L1 squared. So, de-derive ulit natin siya. So, magiging h equals to y L1 squared over x squared. So, substitute lang natin. So, ang y natin ay 0.4. Then, ang L natin ay 100 squared. Then, 50 squared naman ang ating x. So, pag na-solve natin yan, makukuha natin yung 1.6 feet. So, para naman sa L2, ganun din ang formula. So, 2HL1 over G1 minus G2 times L1 minus 2H. So, substitute natin. So, 2 times H, which is 1.6 feet. Then, L1, which is 100. Tapos, ang G1 natin ay 0.032 minus yung G2, which is negative 0.04. Then, times sa 100, which is yung L1, and minus 2 times H, which is 1.6. And makukuha natin yung 80 feet. So, tulad ng ginawa kanina, i-add lang natin yung L1 at L2, then makukuha na natin yung length of curve. So, ang ating length of curve ay 180 feet. Okay, next. So, determine the elevation of S. First, we need to find L1 G1 over 2. So, using this formula kasi, madedetermine natin kung saan manggagaling yung lowest elevation. So, since ang L1 natin is 100, G1 is 0.032 over 2, so ang sagot dyan ay 1.6. Ang based dun sa formula, pag siya ay greater than sa H, ibig sabihin manggagaling siya sa PT. Pero pagka ang L1 G1 over 2 natin ay lower than H, manggagaling naman siya sa PC. So since siya ay equal sa H, ibig sabihin manggagaling siya sa vertex. Bakit? Kasi ang H laging nasa baba lang ng vertex. So having that in our mind, madedetermine agad natin or makoconclude natin na ang L1 G1 over 2, which is yung ginagamit para ma-determine ang lowest point of the curve, malalaman agad natin na manggagaling siya sa phi or elevation of vertex. Manggagaling siya sa vertex. So, to find the elevation of S, ang gagamitin natin ay elevation of vertex minus H. So, using that formula, isa-substitute natin yung H at yung elevation of vertex. So, 350 minus 1.6, makukuha natin ang elevation of S na 348.400 feet. Then next, determine the elevation at station 42 plus 40. So for the value of Y, we're going to use Y over X squared equals to H over L2 squared. So by deriving the formula, para makuha natin yung Y, we're going to use H times X squared, which is 50 squared, then yung H yung 1.6, over L2 squared, which is 80, so 80 squared. Then makukuha natin yung sagot sa Y na 0.625 feet. Then next, kukunin natin yung Z. So para makuha yung Z, gagamit ulit tayo ng sa triangle, which is yung kanina. So ito ulit siya. Itong part ulit na to. So para makuha natin yan, gagamitin ulit natin yung formula na G times X. So, yung 30, which is yung X, then yung G, which is yung sa 4%, so 0.04. Then, makukuha natin ang Z. Pag pinag-times natin yung 0.04 times 30, then ang Z ay magiging 1.2. So, for the elevation at station 42 plus 40, we're going to use the formula elevation of B minus Z minus Y. So, substitute 350 minus 1.2 minus 0.625 will get 348.175 feet bilang elevation at station 42 plus 40. That's all for today's video. Thank you po sa pakikinig and sorry po about sa mga typo. That's all. Thank you.